So Cardano ADA has dipped more than 8.5% to the downside following this nice price surge to the upside. And it is possible that there are a couple of scenarios in play right now, where, of course, one of them is a bullish scenario and the other is a bearish scenario. And the bearish scenario would be that this wave structure to the upside that I've been tracking is now complete, and then we get to see that move to the downside, where we then potentially tap into this region here between 53.42 cents to 61.75 cents. And as you guys know, I've been tracking this WXY structure where the Y wave target was this range here between 74 to 78.18 cents, which we ended up tapping into. And the Y wave is made up of a WXY structure where the Y wave is then made up of another WXY structure. And within that Y wave, it's made up of 5 waves, which is potentially complete now, given that we ended up tapping into this region. Now, the bullish scenario could be that there is still more room to the upside, and rather than this being a WXY structure, instead what we have is 5 waves, where this is our wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then a final 5th wave move to the upside. And should that be the case, that 5th wave would typically retrace anywhere between 1.236 to 1.618. And so ADA has the potential to reach anywhere between 76.19 cents to 78.84 cents. And so if I draw that in, so it has the potential to tap into this region here. Now, in my previous video, I talked about the potential for ADA to tap into this region, given that this 5th wave was made up of 5 waves. And during the time of recording, I was tracking the 4th wave, and we were looking for a final push to the upside where ADA would then tap into this region here. However, as you can see, that 4th wave ended up retracing even deeper, and it ended up crossing our wave 1. And as a result, that wave structure is invalid, given that whenever you have a 5-wave move, so if I just quickly draw that in, so the 4th wave cannot cross the wave 1, like so. And if it does, then that structure then becomes invalid. And so that's essentially what ended up taking place over here, where the wave 1 ended up topping off at around 69 cents, and we ended up going even deeper, where we then retested the 200 EMA. Now, for this move to be valid, a 5-wave move rather than a WXY structure, so if I quickly draw it in, essentially what you have is your wave 1, wave 2, your wave 3, your wave 4, and your final 5th wave move, where we then tap into this region here. So if I just remove that since we no longer need it. And it's possible that this wave 1 is made up of a leading diagonal, which is contracting. And so if I just quickly draw in the trend lines, so you have your upper trend line and you have your lower trend line like so. And then within that wave 1, what you would have is 5 waves, like so. Now, typically, whenever you have a contracting leading diagonal, the wave 2 does retrace deeper, where it then more or less touches the lower trend line. However, at times it can fall short, like it has done in this case. And as long as the wave 2 doesn't cross the wave 1 origin, like so, then that structure still remains valid. And we also need the wave 4 to not cross the wave 1 also. So like so, if it does, then that wave structure would then be invalid. And so in this case, despite the wave 2 not retracing deeper, the structure is still valid, and as a result, there is a possibility that we have a leading diagonal, and it's made up of 5 waves, where ADA can then potentially tap into this region here. Now, as far as the indicators go, we are still looking fairly bullish, and of course, recently what we have seen is consecutive green candlesticks, like we have done so far, and we ended up crossing the 50 EMA, and here we are now trading above it. And you can see that smart money concept is indicating that we have a weak high and a strong low. And as things stands at the moment, during the time of recording, it is looking likely that we could potentially break that weak high. And as a result, that could then lead to a breaker structure and a change of character, which again would then confirm that we are on a bullish trend. Now, as far as the 4-hour chart goes, again, we are looking bullish, given that we are trading above both the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA. And I've talked previously about how the 50 EMA was on the brink of actually crossing the 200 EMA, which is also known as the golden cross. And all that is a reflection of what has already taken place, which is this nice price surge to the upside. And yeah, that is a bullish confirmation. And of course, we are oversold on the stochastic RSI too. And so the bulls could have the momentum to push the price of ADA up towards this upper region here. Now, as far as the daily chart goes, you can see that we are overbought on the stochastic RSI. And so it is possible that we tap into this region here and then the bears then gain control of the market, which could then potentially drive the price of ADA down towards this region here. And I do anticipate people shorting the market, given that we have seen I believe, a 40% or over 40% move to the upside. And so people were taking profits, which would then potentially lead to a dip in the market and ADA potentially reaching this target here. And it is possible too that we have a bigger WXY structure forming, like so, and then ADA potentially tap into that 80-cent range. And of course, again, I anticipate people shorting the market and people will then potentially buy at a low price, which could then potentially drive the price of ADA up towards that region. And so, yeah, that's just my quick update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found this useful. And if you did, then feel free to hit that like button. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.